In 1985, Los Angeles County was in the grip of a vicious serial killer. Ordinary citizens were no longer safe in their homes, as the mysterious killer, christened the Night Stalker, raped, murdered and mutilated in the name of Satan. By August of 1985, the Night Stalker had killed at least 13, terrorized Los Angeles County, and pushed investigators to their limits. Now he appeared to be on the move, and detectives feared he'd be even harder to catch.
Where we'd had him localized in Los Angeles County, now all of a sudden he's in the city of San Francisco. That was of great concern.
But by the end of the month, a number of important leads finally came together.
We actually, through informants that identified him, we knew where he hung out. We knew he liked drugs, and he used to hang around the Skid Row area.
At the same time, there was a fingerprint recovered on the rearview mirror of a stolen car that the killer had used. And they made Richard Ramirez off that fingerprint. The sheriff of LA County, the chief of police of LA City, the chief of Glendale decided that they were going to release the picture of the killer, Richard Ramirez, to the press immediately.
Los Angeles would be terrorized by a series of brutal rapes and murders.
The panic that swept the county was enormous.
People didn't know if they were going to live to see the next morning.
Men, women, the elderly and children were all in the sadistic killer's sights. On the morning of the 29th of August, 1985, Richard Ramirez arrived in Los Angeles after visiting a brother in Arizona.
Ricky walked into the nearest convenience store to buy some candy, and he noticed people were looking at him. And then when he would look at them, they'd look away, of course. And as he was waiting for his change, he looked at the newspapers on the counter. And every paper, there were 4 or 5 of them then from LA and from the area, every paper had his picture, his photograph. And then one woman, she said, it's him, El Matador, which is killer in Spanish.
Ramirez panicked and fled.
So he started running through yards, across over fences. He climbed about a 9-foot sound barrier wall. As he went through yards, people were calling in. They were calling to the Los Angeles Police Department, saying somebody's coming to my yard, I have a prowler. Members of the Los Angeles Police Department were already on his trail. They were following the 911 calls. Continued running east in a northeasterly direction and made it all the way to Hubbard Street. He tries to carjack a female resident. She screams.
We were actually still asleep. We heard a bang, then a scream. We ran out here. We noticed a tall, dark, skinny guy running, and my dad right behind him. We just came running as fast as we can to assist my dad and the neighbors.
Richard has been running for about 2 miles.
Pretty much caught up to him about here and tackled him right here up against this fence.
Citizens come out and surround him.
And he was right here, just sitting down right here. He was bleeding because one of the neighbors had hit him with a fence post right over the head. He was perspiring and huffing and puffing and looked very tired and scary. He looked very scary, actually.
We are all evil in some form or another, are we not?
Convicted serial killer Richard Ramirez seemed to relish the concept of evil, and once upon a time a lot of folks in the state of California viewed the one-time Texas altar boy as evil's human embodiment.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil.
In the summer of 1985, the Texas drifter descended like a deadly disease on a hot California night. A one-man epidemic of madness and murder, one of America's first serial killers to be given a brand name, the Night Stalker.
Lock your doors, lock your windows. If you have the ability to provide additional security devices, then by all means do so.
Who wants to be next? I don't. No one else does.
He preyed on both women and men, young and old. He slipped through windows, slit throats, raped, tortured, and killed.
Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times. Even psychopaths have emotions if you dig deep enough, but then again, maybe they don't.
At the time, Ramirez was certainly a guy attracting a lot of attention. Since his arrival at the San Francisco jail, women from around the country, including one of the female jurors who had found him guilty in Los Angeles, had been flocking to the San Francisco facility, even fighting with each other over Richard's affections.